Not every love story starts with open arms. Some start with a tiny, silver-furred creature sitting inside a plastic bag on your kitchen floor, staring up at you like you personally disappointed him just by existing in the same room. That was the day everything changed for Maya. She hadn't planned on getting a cat. She definitely hadn't planned on getting this particular cat. He arrived on a Wednesday afternoon in November, tucked inside a cardboard carrier, already wearing an expression that said, "I have carefully evaluated this situation. I am not impressed." The rescue volunteers smiled apologetically at the door. "He's a little particular," she said. "He's been returned once already. The family said he was too aloof." Maya looked at those green eyes, narrowed, skeptical, ancient. He looked back at her like a tiny philosophy professor who had just been asked a very stupid question and was deciding whether to bother answering. "I'll take him," Maya said. She named him Cosmo. Cosmo was 5 months old and 4 pounds of pure, undiluted opinion. His fur was silver and gray, soft as winter clouds, and absolutely wasted on him because he wore it like armor. Every morning he sat at the edge of the kitchen counter and watched Maya make coffee with the expression of someone enduring a deeply disappointing theatrical performance. He didn't meow for attention, he didn't rub against her legs, he didn't ask for anything at all. He simply observed and judged, quietly, thoroughly, every single day. Maya's friends thought it was hilarious. "Your cat hates you," her friend Jess laughed one afternoon, watching Cosmo stare Maya down from across the room. Maya just tilted her head. "He doesn't hate me, he just hasn't decided about me yet." But here's what nobody else saw. Every night, around 11, after the lights went low and the apartment grew quiet, Cosmo would hop softly up onto the couch, not next to Maya, not close enough to touch, just nearby, present, watching, like a tiny silver security guard who would never admit he cared about his post. The weeks passed slowly, softly. Maya learned his language. She learned that the slow blink meant, "You are tolerable today, well done." She learned that sitting just out of reach meant, "I am here, do not make this strange." She learned that the single quiet chirp at 6 a.m. did not mean, "Good morning, I love you." It meant, "Your presence is required in the kitchen, immediately." And she showed up every single time, without complaint. She started talking to him too, just because he was there and the apartment was quiet, about the difficult client at work, about the plant she accidentally killed, about the days that felt heavier than they looked. Cosmo would sit 3 feet away, ears angled slightly forward, tail wrapped neatly around his paws, looking thoroughly unimpressed. But he stayed. He always stayed. Moments like these remind us why some stories are too good to keep to yourself. Then one Tuesday in January, everything shifted. Maya came home later than usual, exhausted, a little defeated. She sat down on the couch without even taking off her coat. She didn't turn on the TV, she didn't check her phone. She just sat there in the quiet dark. And then she felt it. Weight. Small, warm, deliberate weight settling carefully onto her lap. She looked down slowly, afraid to breathe too hard. Cosmo sat there, perfectly upright, expression still completely neutral, as if this were simply a business decision he had reached after careful deliberation. He did not look up at her. He did not purr, but he stayed, right there, on her lap, for 47 minutes. Maya didn't move, didn't dare. She sat in the dark with her coat still on and a 4-pound philosopher on her lap, and felt something unknot in her chest. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, I want you to stay just a moment. Stories like Cosmo's are exactly why this channel exists. Hit that subscribe button. You already belong here. By February, Cosmo had established new rules. The lap was now available, but only when he decided and always on his terms. He would cross the room with great purpose, circle exactly twice, and sit. Still no purring, still that expression of mild cosmic inconvenience. But every single night, without fail, Maya started noticing other things. When she had a stressful phone call, Cosmo would appear silently at her feet, not touching, just close, a warm, quiet reminder that enough was enough. When she cried, twice, 3 times that winter. He would materialize from whatever corner he had claimed and sit directly beside her. Not on her, just beside her, within reach. Like he understood that sometimes you don't need to be held. You just need to know someone is there. One afternoon, Jess came over again. She watched Cosmo trail Maya from room to room, always a few steps behind, always pretending he had somewhere else to be, and slowly shook her head. "He doesn't hate you," Jess said quietly. Maya smiled. "No, he never did." Spring came. Cosmo discovered the window ledge. He would sit there for hours, watching birds with total, focused intensity. Sometimes Maya would stand beside him, coffee warming her hands, looking out at the same pale sky. And Cosmo would glance up, just for a second, with those deep, quiet green eyes. Then look away again, like he was saying, "This is acceptable. Your presence here is acceptable." That was enough. That was everything. He purred for the first time on a Sunday morning in April. Maya was still half asleep. Cosmo had settled onto the pillow beside her, closer than he had ever allowed himself to be. And when her hand found his soft silver fur without thinking, she heard it, low, rusty, like a small engine carefully remembering how to run. She didn't move, barely breathed, just listened to that quiet, unpracticed sound fill the room like morning light through curtains, and she understood finally what he had been saying all along. Not, "I don't care," not, "I am too cool for this." He had been saying, "I need to know you'll stay." He needed to know she wouldn't leave when his face didn't look soft enough. He needed to know she could hear the love living underneath the silence. He needed someone who would show up, patiently, without conditions, even when he didn't know how to ask. And she had, every single day, without asking for anything back. If you're thinking about adopting a cat, especially the ones who look at you sideways, the ones who sit just out of reach, the ones everyone else calls difficult, please don't walk past them. They are not broken. They are not cold. They are just the ones who learned somewhere along the way that love doesn't always stay, and they are waiting, quietly, carefully, hopefully, for someone brave enough to prove them wrong. Cosmo didn't need Maya to fix him. He needed her to see him, fully, patiently, without conditions. Because love doesn't always arrive with fanfare. Sometimes it just shows up, sits 3 feet away, stays. And one quiet Sunday morning, it finally, softly, purrs. Do you think some cats are just born guarded, or did something happen along the way to make them that way? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one.